How's it going? It's a cold, rainy day here in Maryland today, and we decided we were going to make some minestrone for dinner. And we were thinking about what we wanted to go along with it, and we thought that a perfect comfort accompanying food would be some kind of dinner rolls. Well, I found a recipe for some honey whole wheat dinner rolls that just looks delicious. So we're going to make that today. The ingredients in this recipe include 1 cup of whole milk, warmed to about 110 degrees, 2 1/4 teaspoons of Red Star Platinum yeast. Now, the author of this recipe specifically noted that type of yeast, so I got that kind of yeast. 1 stick of unsalted butter, softened to room temperature, 1/3 of a cup of honey, 2 large eggs, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3 1/2 cups of whole wheat flour, plus more for kneading and shaping. And then you have a topping consisting of unsalted butter and honey as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started with making the dough. It's got to rise a couple of times, but can't do any of that until you get it mixed. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Now, the first step in this is to put the yeast in the bottom of the mixing bowl, and then pour the warmed milk over the top of that, and then let the yeast activate. So let's go ahead and do that. So it looks like 2 1/4 teaspoons is about 1 packet. So we're just going to put 1 packet of this in. All right, now we're going to go ahead and heat up the milk. Now we're going to do that in the microwave, but what we're also going to do is make sure we take the temperature of the milk before we put it in with the yeast, because if you get it too hot, you could kill the yeast, and we certainly don't want to do that. So we'll heat it a little bit at a time in the microwave, and then take its temperature. And that's got the milk just short of 100 degrees. I'm more comfortable with that than trying to shoot for exactly 100, so we're about 96. That'll be fine. We're going to pour the milk over the yeast now. And I'm going to give it a little whisk. Smells amazing. Okay. We're going to let this sit for 5 minutes to become, as the recipe quotes, foamy and frothy. In the meantime, we'll get the mixer set up and have everything else ready to go. Alright, so I've worked with this yeast for about 20 to 25 minutes trying to get it to be foamy and frothy like it says in the instructions, and I don't feel that it's foamy or frothy. It's a little bubbly. It looks like there's some activity. I even went so far as to, because I was concerned, the bowl was cold, the milk was warm. When I put it in, it probably cooled off the milk. So I put it in the open door of the oven for a while with heat coming off. I think it may be activated. I don't know, but I've run out of patience, so we need to move on. The next step in this recipe says, on low speed, beat in the softened butter until it's slightly broken up. Then beat in the honey, eggs, and salt. The butter won't really be mixing into the mixture, so don't be alarmed if it stays in pieces. On low speed, gradually add the flour. Once it is all added, beat on medium speed until a soft dough forms. Increase the speed to medium-high and beat for 6 to 7 minutes. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but we'll break this down piece by piece. The dough should pull away from the edges of the mixing bowl. Poke with your fingers, should bounce back. Standard. Is your dough ready? So the first things we're going to do is, on low speed, we're going to beat in the butter. We have it softened to room temperature and cut into 4 pieces as the instructions say. And we will beat in the butter, then the honey, eggs, and salt. All right, that's next. And as the instructions indicate, it's breaking the butter up. Okay, next, honey, eggs, and salt. Eggs. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we have our flour, 3½ cups. All right, now we gradually add the flour. Now I'm just going to be using a 1/4 cup as a spoon to spoon this in a little bit at a time. All right, let's let that get mixed in and we'll add some more. Okay, it's all been added and it's kind of struggling to continue to make this dough ball. So we're going to follow the next step and move this up to medium speed while it continues to create the dough ball. It looks like we've got a pretty good dough ball. Pretty happy with that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the consistency of this dough ball. So I'm going to put the lid on the bowl and we're going to turn this up to high, medium high it says, and beat for 6 to 7 minutes. So we're going to put the lid on, we're going to beat it for 7 minutes. Okay, we'll see you back in a little bit. All right, it's been 7 minutes. The next step is we take the dough ball out of the mixer and we put it on a lightly floured surface and we knead it by hand for about a minute. Then we put a little bit of olive oil back into the mixing bowl and we put the bread in there, the dough ball, and we coat it with oil. And then we lightly put a piece of aluminum foil over it. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow her instructions. What she said was she let it rise for 2 hours by preheating her oven to 150 degrees, then shutting it off, and then putting the dough in there and letting the oven just cool off over that 2-hour period. So we're going to follow those instructions and see how this works. Since I've never done this before, I have to follow their instructions because I don't really have any insight into doing this on my own. So let's go ahead and get the dough out. Do a little hand kneading. And I guess set it up to rise. It's a nice looking dough ball. Not sticky. All right, so a little bit of olive oil in the pot, and then we will form a dough ball and put it in there and get it in the oven. All right, in the oven. We'll see you back here in a couple hours. Holy cow, look at this. Look at how much that's risen. That's crazy. I'm so excited about that. Okay, so our next step in this process is we punch down the risen dough and we dump it out onto this lightly floured surface. Then we're going to form it into a 9 by 13 rectangle before cutting it into the roll shapes. Look at that. Sort of punched itself down when it fell out. But that's okay. I'm going to lightly flour my hands. Oh, it's warm. Feels amazing. Okay. It didn't say to knead it anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to form it into a 9x13 rectangle, which is the size of the pan it's going to be baking in. So it doesn't have to be exact. All right, I have my pizza cutter. We're going to cut 15. So we're going to cut it here and here. And then 2 vertically. Okay, there's our dinner roll sized. Now it says to soften the edges, so we're going to soften the edges. And we're going to load up this 9x13 pan, and then we're going to set it to rise again for another hour. Now I'm going to go preheat the oven so that it's able to be used as a rising chamber again. That was amazing what it did before, so let me go heat that up too. Why do I feel like we're 1, 2? I only get 12. Why do I only have 12? I'm supposed to have 15. All right, there we have our dinner rolls in the pan, ready to go. I'm going to let the oven finish warming up, and then we're going to turn it off, throw these in there for another hour, and then they'll be ready to bake. All right. I'm excited. Get that out. All right, I am going to go ahead and turn the oven on, and we're going to get ready to bake these. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this bake for about 13 minutes, and then we're going to put a piece of aluminum foil over the top in order to keep it from getting too overly browned on the top. So half the time without, and then we'll be adding in the tinfoil. All right, the bread's halfway done. We're going to drop a sheet of aluminum foil on top to keep it from getting too crusty, and then we'll be done in about another 15 minutes. All right, the bread will be done in 1 minute. So what we're going to do next is we're going to pull it out. We're going to free it from the baking pan and put it on a cooling rack, and then we're going to brush the glaze on top. So that's what you'll see next. So that's them fresh out of the oven. We're going to move them over to this cooling rack here, and then we will glaze them. All right, here we go. Is it good?
Really
Can you
good.
taste the honey?
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, Dolly, you're next.
Okay.
Come on, don't let that bun beat you.
Okay, here we go. Good stuff? Good, good, good.
Hard to beat freshly baked bread, right?
Right.
So this is the minestrone we just made in the Instapot. I didn't make a video about that, but that's what we're having with the bread. I'm going to try my first bite here. I'm so excited. Mmm. Feels heavy. Really, really good. The honey is delicious. Mmm. All right, there you go. I think it needs some butter on it. Honey, whole wheat dinner rolls. They're amazing. All right, we'll see you later.